Okay. All right, we're together, and good morning, everyone. Sorry to keep you waiting. There's so much action downtown. I came from a meeting of a couple of developers who are looking at our city, and very enthusiastically so. So first I gotta make sure. There we go. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'll call this recommending committee meeting of July 15th, 2019 to order. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
Thank you very much. This meeting has been posted in various locations throughout the city. Our first item. Bill number 2019-19, abeyance item for possible action, repeals LVMC 19.10.105 pertaining to the repurposing of certain golf courses and open spaces, sponsored by Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore.
Thank you. So I plan on striking this ordinance at the city council meeting on Wednesday, so I would like to vote on this now and not take testimony on this today because of the move to forward the bill 2019-19 to the city council for a hearing on July 17, 2019, with a recommendation to strike it at that meeting.
Okay, so then anyone who's here today, it will go to council this Wednesday, but you are hearing that it's being moved to be stricken, and therefore, I mean, if you wish to speak then, I don't think there's a purpose because, in fact, it's being stricken, to which I concur. An attorney, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Jeff Dorkak, Deputy City Attorney. Because of the format for our recommending committee, we do have to open the item for public comment, but as you noted, Mayor Pro Tem's indicated she's going to move for it to be stricken at City Council, so that can obviously be taken into account by any public commenters. And then in addition, just for the record, in our title and summary, the chapter is 16. It is not 10, so it's 19.16.105. We just wanted to give that clarification. But as for obviously the bill and the body, it's all fine. It was just the number needed to be corrected. But yeah, we'll need to open it for public comment right now. At City Council on Wednesday, public comment with the item does not need to be taken.
So anybody who wishes to come, please come forward if you wish to do so, but it will be stricken and moved for to be stricken again on Wednesday. And if you'll give your name and address, please, for our clerk. And then it's a motion, and we'll vote on the motion at that time.
My name's Gordon Culp, 653 Ravel Court, Las Vegas, Nevada. I have only a brief statement. I did submit some written comments.
And while you're looking for your comments, I do want to assure everybody that all the emails that came in have been forwarded to the clerk's office, as well as those positions as well that were sent in hard mail. All are with the clerk's office. Please go ahead, Mr. Culp.
Well, repeal of this open space ordinance is going to negate months of effort by city council and city staff. It's going to wipe out a process that the ordinance provides to assure that the development of open space is compatible and complementary with existing development and regional infrastructure. This is an effort to jam a repeal through for a short-term benefit of a single developer at the expense of many thousands of residents that are going to be affected by open space development now and over the next decade. Included in the ordinance is to be stricken as a maintenance plan requirement. I'd just like to show you one simple photo. There's the overhead working.
Yes. I think in the center. Thank you.
Without some type of maintenance plan approved by the city, this type of thing by a developer who's insensitive to the concerns of the neighborhood can occur. Here you see a pile of debris. He has 200 acres to put it somewhere. Where did he put it? Right behind this person's house.
Thank you. And because we have others who might want to speak, Madam Clerk, I'd like to keep...
I do have a document I'd like to submit for the record.
Let him have his full 2 minutes, but let's keep it 1 minute each, please, because it is stricken. But thank you. You can give that to our clerk, please.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question about the striking of it at the council meeting. If you vote to, if you take the vote and it isn't stricken, then will there be public comment?
If it isn't stricken. The move to strike, well, that's a good question.
Yeah, it'd be a hypothetical now. I mean, we have the bill sponsor saying she's going to move to strike it, but to take your hypothetical, if they vote and it's not stricken and it's up on the merits, it would be the mayor's call at that point whether or not she wants to take additional comments. She would not be required to at city council.
And I would tell you, depending upon how many comments, because we have a full agenda, I would probably take comments at that time were it not stricken, were the vote overriding the striking of the motion.
Okay, yeah,
Thanks.
we'd appreciate that, seeing as
Okay.
we turned up today.
Well, this is a pretty small group, left them all, but seen them before, but thank
Okay.
you.
So the other thing I want to do is
Oh,
submit...
and would you repeat your name
I'm
and your
sorry.
address? So
I
sorry.
always forget my name. Ann Smith, 653 Revelle Court. I'd like to submit this for the record. This is some photos of what happens when you don't have an open space ordinance to a community. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, is that in the form of a motion then? Yes. Oh, so sorry.
I'm not walking fast this morning.
It's all right, you're doing very
Good
well.
morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, nice to be seen.
Paula Qualiana, 9621 Orient Express. If you don't mind, I'm going to read my comments.
That's fine. But hopefully it's not a
It's
multi-page.
not long.
Okay,
It's short.
please.
So 1 minute.
Thank you.
I believe people need to know what laws they are to believe in or to count on in order to conform. I believe that. They need predictability, not laws that will change every time there is an election, or worse, changing laws for family, friends, businesses, or for special interest groups. Changing laws frequently is like wholesale law. It creates chaos and confusion. Can you just start undoing laws and ordinances at random to suit whoever requests this? I believe the answer is clearly no. If you do, this is an attack on democracy. Those are my words this morning about what's happening here. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Hello. You haven't met me before because I'm a new owner of Queensridge. Maureen Pahachik. We live in 9721 Orient Express.
And could I trouble you only because I would like to write down your name, your last name. Would you spell it, please?
Sure. It's P as in Peter, E as in Edward, C as in Charlie, H as in Harry, A as in Apple, C as in Charlie, E as in Edward, K.
Thank you.
So I haven't been involved in all the details, and I know there's a lot of emotions around this, but I am very strongly against, anything that would happen, especially by the people who voted no originally, to then submit an ordinance to repeal something. I just think that's very disingenuous, and I just I know you all know that you represent all the people. You represent the citizens, not the developers, and this ordinance has a lot more to do besides Queensridge. It can affect, all open spaces, and it's a very big obligation. I admire you guys for your public service, and I hope that you'll do what's right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Good morning. Dale Reasoner, 9811 Orient Express. I just had a question. I think there was two motions or actions that were trying to be accomplished. One was the repeal, and then there was another action to change or amend the definition of open space. And are those two concurrent with this same motion that you're making today? Are they on the same, or is that a separate issue altogether?
I will stand corrected by our attorney, but I believe the intent was one to repeal, and that was the motion, period, just to repeal it. Everything else, definition, creating a new ordinance, that would be something additionally and separate. This is specific just to repeal it, which is what you have to do first before you can move on with anything else.
Okay,
That
so
would
the
stand
other items
corrected.
won't be on the agenda on Wednesday, is that the case?
Right, as the mayor said, the bill's purpose was to repeal the ordinance from 2018. We also did a little cleanup, as the commenter suggested, on what open space meant, to work with our planning department, but all of that is essentially moot. As the mayor pro tem indicated, she's going to recommend it be, the item be stricken Wednesday, therefore none of this is going to pass or go anywhere.
In other words, where you are is the status quo, with the ordinance in place as is.
Okay. Okay, well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk, and would like to go on the record that I feel like the ordinance serves a good purpose. It gives direction and some clarity for everybody, and I appreciate all the effort that went into it in the past, and I'd like it to remain as is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? All right, hearing none, then I would accept your motion, please.
On the floor is a motion to recommend the item be stricken by the city council on Wednesday.
With the correction, the numerical correction that you made.
Good call, Mayor, yes, the number.
Oh, I'm getting a little legal here. So please vote. And that has passed. Okay, now we'll move on to and thank you all for coming down once again. Appreciate it. Agenda item, this is bill number 201924 for possible action. Adopts a certain document, wait, let me just make sure I'm right, entitled Fifth Amendment, a restatement to the development agreement for Sky Canyon Master Plan Community regarding property generally located at the northwest corner of Grand Teton Drive and Grand Canyon Drive, proposed by our Director of Planning, Robert Summerfield.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
down here.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. So this is the ordinance that will formalize and ratify the development agreement that the council has already approved. Everything is in order, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. So do you want to make a motion? Yep.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to forward Bill 2019-24 to the City Council meeting on July 17, 2019, with a due pass recommendation.
Oh, pardon me, I'm so used to other meetings. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to be heard on this item, please come forward, state your name, give us your address for the record. Hearing none, I will close public comment, and there is a motion to move this forward. And please post. And that carries. We'll move on to agenda item 5, bill number 2019-25 for possible action adopts that certain document entitled Amended and Restated Development Agreement for Sunstone Master Plan Community regarding property generally located southwest corner of North Sky Canyon Park Drive and Moccasin Road, proposed by our Director of Planning, Mr. Summerfield.
Madam Mayor, again, this one is ratification of a development agreement that the council has already adopted or has passed as of June 19th, 2019, and staff would recommend approval.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this item? Hearing and seeing none, we will close public hearing and may I have a motion.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move to forward Bill 2019-25 to the City Council meeting on July 17th with a due pass recommendation.
Please vote and we will post. And that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 7, I'm missing one, 6. Bill number 2019-26 for possible action amends LVMC Chapter 6.39 to exempt from licensing and regulation as a nightclub any establishment with a tavern limited license within the downtown Entertainment Overlay District and amends LVMC 6.50.250 to authorize conditions to be imposed on such establishments regarding outdoor patron lines and outdoor speakers. This was proposed by City Attorney Brad Jerbick. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? Are there any comments?
There are, Mayor. I could do some brief comments, and I know we have some follow-up as well. As you noted, this bill will amend Municipal Code Chapter 6.39 to exempt licensing and regulation as a nightclub, any establishment with a tavern limited license in the Downtown Entertainment Overlay District. The bill also amends Section 6.50.250 to authorize conditions to be imposed on such establishments regarding outdoor patron lines and outdoor speakers at these locations. The bill is intended to allow more flexibility for operations with tavern-limited licenses while preserving operational requirements consistent with the goals and standards of the Downtown Entertainment Overlay District. Chief Deputy City Attorney Valsteed is here with a proposed First Amendment that he's worked on with our planning department. And after that, if there are any comments that the public has or any feedback they need from staff, I'm sure we're ready.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Good morning. The bill as originally introduced was intended to allow nightclub operations, nightclub-type operations within the Downtown Entertainment Overlay District without the need to get a nightclub license, because many of those requirements for a nightclub license don't really work well in that district. Subsequent to its introduction, Mr. Jerbick identified some things that needed to be added, as well as our licensing division and our planning department. And so before you, Mr. Dorkak has passed out a proposed First Amendment. I wanted to bring to your attention the changes that have been made in this proposed First Amendment from what you see in front of you. If you want to follow along on page 4, you'll see highlighted there that one of the requirements in order for a tavern limited license within this district not to have to get a separate nightclub license would be what you see highlighted there, that they would have to turn in a mandatory security plan to address all aspects of the establishment's operations. In addition, the director would have the right to require them to separate minors out, as is the case with nightclubs, and also establish the security plan enforcement provisions that apply to nightclubs. So you see that in addition to the outdoor lines and the speakers that were in the original version, this adds a couple more requirements that licensing, and I assume the police department also wanted inserted. And then on page 5, you'll see that if a tavern limited within this district is not having required as part of their approval by the council some specified entertainment, which normally doesn't happen, then they would have to bring their entertainment proposal forward before the licensing division in order to get approved for what they plan to do. And then on pages 7 and 8, you'll see sections 4 through 9 are all amending Title 19, which wasn't in the original version. And that amendment allows them not to get a special use permit for the separate nightclub operation if it functions as an ancillary operation and conforms with the requirements you see on page 8. And that requires them to already have had a special use permit approved for the Tavern Limited, and requires them to conform with the requirements that we have in section 6.50.250 for this type of operation. I know there's been some concern about that, but we thought that the changes you see in the proposed First Amendment would alleviate some of those concerns. Thank you.
Could I ask Mr. Steed, is there any requirement in there that council or city staff or law enforcement approves specifically what is meant by security? They could be hiring a private firm that has a less than acceptable reputation.
I think those security plans are on a case-by-case basis. Maybe Mary can fill us in on what that process would be as far as how the security plan would have to meet their requirements.
Thank you.
For the record, Mary McElhone, Deputy Planning Director. The way the First Amendment is drafted is it requires a mandatory security plan for those establishments in the Downtown Entertainment Overlay District. Normally what happens is they submit that security plan to the Department of Planning and Business Licensing. We go through that plan with them. We make sure that different aspects of the building, the business are covered, such as line control, how many people at the front door. Sometimes they'll put in emergency procedures in there. So we kind of go through that plan with them and make sure that they're going to operate safely. As far as having a requirement in the code that they have a state licensed security company, no, that is not something that's in the code. That is something that oftentimes ends up being a requirement placed as a condition by city council. Sometimes a licensee, because they've had problems, will agree to that condition, and we will place it administratively, but ultimately, the control of having a required security by a licensed security company is placed on by city council.
So if in fact city council were of the mind, because of security throughout the country now, there are a lot of new companies that haven't necessarily gained a great reputation, but it has seemed to be a good business to own and operate a security business. Beyond a business license here in the city of Las Vegas, is there any other requirement, or it's just a general review by licensing of that particular security company?
The security company, if it's state license, again, they're state licensed through the Private License Investigators Board. They carry the license through the state through them. And they're also a licensed city business as well. So they'll carry a separate city license. A lot of companies provide, a lot of businesses will have their own security, but they'll hire them just as employees. Sometimes that's very problematic because they hire the wrong people.
And that's my concern. So that's something that would inure back to city council to make that more specific and a certain bar raised for the security company.
Madam Mayor, yes, that is correct. We will put that as a condition on a license. We've also asked City Council in the past to also place that as a condition on a license. Just this past year, I know of one license in particular that you agreed as a condition they had to have a licensed security company.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else, Mr. Summerfield or Ms. McElhone? Anything else on this? Okay, public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this before I entertain a motion? It's on, I think. Good morning.
Brian O'Callahan with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And my family wishes you well, Mayor.
Thank you.
What we're looking at, they're trying to fix something that was put in place back in 2015 because of a lot of the problems we had down. We had a shooting, we had some stabbings, and there was a reason why that was put in there. Now, I'm not going to get into real specifics myself. I have Sergeant Menzie from Special Investigations, and also, Mary McElhone has a lot of details behind the reason why. We had some discussions with Brad Jerbick, and we're going to have some talks this week, see if we can work something out. And that's where we're at with it right now.
Thank you. Appreciate your comment. Question, please.
Yes. Thank you. So my question is, because originally when we do make the motion, I was going to motion to obey it for 60 days, but I spoke with our attorney, Mr. Jerbick, and he had said, you guys talked and everything. Are you in support of this bill or not in support of this bill as the amendments have been read by Mr. Steed?
Currently, we're not in support of it. We're looking at it, why fix something that's not broken? It's working well right now on the east side.
Okay, so then, all right, so Madam Mayor.
Then,
can I make a
yes.
motion? So then I would move to obey the bill 2019-26 to the next recommending committee meeting, so you can have time. Originally, I was going to ask for 60 days to
right,
September
and to
16th.
to the committee of the whole, the council.
Okay, so we can do
So it
that.
gives them, I think that would, rather than give them a time specific, if we look at the August, what is That's what, how many?
You want
2
August
weeks?
19th? Or do you want to go to the council?
Yeah, the council
That's
of the whole.
So
yeah,
I think it
committee
would
of the
be
whole.
better if we go to the council as the whole, because then we have 7 of us that can actually put more things in and figure it out, so.
And it gives them more time to work together to see if there's a meeting of the minds. So when would that be?
August 7th. So I'm going to move to no recommendation from us,
Right.
but to move it to council for the August 7th meeting. With the First Amendment, and then maybe more amendments with, I just need you to get with our attorneys and business and make sure that, because the behavior downtown is not safe or acceptable, so we agree with you.
That was a discussion we had with Brad, to move it to the 7th, and then we can have these meetings in between.
Great,
So-
wonderful. Okay, there's motion, no motion. We still vote on no
There is a motion. Mayor
recommendation.
Pro Tem Fiore's motion on the floor is to move the First Amendment to the council on the whole with no recommendation.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
And that carries. Thank you so very much. Okay, and if I can find my sheet here, that we are at our second citizen participation, agenda item 7. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the committee. No subject may be acted upon by the committee unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium, give your name for the record with correct spelling, please. The amount of discussion on any single subject as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Hearing and seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. And I invited